Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back. Okay. So, for anyone that's interested, in the chat box, there's a YouTube clip that teaches us as TAE categories. You may find that of interest. It is something that I am passionate about doing and doing well, but we'll definitely take your presenting game to the next level. And it's all about how you can master your own body language to create particular emotions in your audience. And yeah, really cool stuff. Really cool stuff. Because unfortunately, a lot of presenters are unaware of their own unconscious body language. So what we're going to do now, though, is earlier over the break, I sent you an email, and the email had a template in it. When you have received the template, just type in "received" into the chat box for me, please. Excellent. Jordan said "received." Awesome. Oh, Rochelle got it first time now. That's really cool. Okay, so I think everyone's got it. Got John. Yeah, everyone's got it. That's really cool. All right, so what we're going to do now is what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to reflect back on your notes. And in this template, what we're going to do is we're going to record some of our notes. So my top learnings, all right? So your name is obviously you, TA course, right? Now, learning number one, it could be anything at all for you. It could be, let's go with 3 strategies to build engagement. So it could be engagement strategies, all right? Another one could be the AQF, right? I doubt it. Another one could be the difference between training and education. Another one could be the 8-minute rule. Another one could be format. Another one could be the structure of a session. Could be anything at all, right? And then last of all, we've got my shift. So in here, you're going to put in a note for yourselves like, well, prior to doing this course, I thought delivery was this. Now, after doing this course, I realized that training is about this. Okay, so you don't need to fill out this one in much detail, but that's okay. What I'd like to do is I'm going to give you about 3 minutes. I simply want you to look at your notes and grab 3 of your key learnings for this course that you've gone through and just put them into the slide. So learning 1, learning 2, learning 3, and just pop them in there for me, please. Thank you. So I'll give you about 2:35 to do that. So we will pause there for a second. And if you just want to listen up for just a moment. So I'm now going to demonstrate something for you. So let's kick it off. Hi everyone. The other day I went to a course. It was the TAE Cert for and Training Assessment course, the Train the Trainer course, so to speak. And today I want to share with you three of the things that I really learned at the course that really made an impact on me. So the first thing I learned was the difference between training and education, and learning and training. And that really made a big impact on me because blah, 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 blah. Second thing I learned was about the art and science about engagement, and two simple ways that you can build engagement, which were blah and blah. And the third thing I learned was about the part system and about personality styles that people may have and they may demonstrate as learners when they come into your training session. Blah, 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 blah. And then for me, the biggest shift that I got from going to the course was definitely before I went to the course, I thought training was this. And then I realized it was more about that. And I'm really excited about going forward with my training. So what's going to happen now is, let me find my parser. Okay, now if you can, what I'd like you to do is I'd love you to bring up your PowerPoint and show it on the screen. So Jordan, you're going to be going first. And what I'd like you to do is I'm not going to monitor time on this at all, but if you can show your screen and you can show the PowerPoints, please do so. All you need to do is click on share screen and then share the one that's got your PowerPoints in it. The reason we're doing this and practicing doing this is so that you get a little bit of sense of A, you're practicing delivering, but also B, finding the share screen button so that when you come to do your presentations on presentation day, it's not a complete freak out. So Jordan, if you're able to share your screen, if you can't, that's totally fine. You can do it without the PowerPoints. But Jordan, if you're fantastic, Jordan's all over it. Fantastic. So you can leave it on that screen or you can go to slideshow and do it by individual slide. It's totally up to you. But what's going to happen now is we're going to hear from the amazing Jordan, who's going to tell us some really cool stuff. And I'm really excited. You should be excited. It's going to be phenomenal. And Jordan is going to kick us off. And when he gets through it, he gets through it. There's no minimum on time length or maximum, but I will stop you if you go for 5 minutes. Awesome. On that note, everyone, type in the chat box. Please type in the chat box. We're excited. Type in the chat box. We are excited. Go ahead, type in the chat box. We're excited. And Jordan is going to kick us off once everyone types in, we're excited. Awesome. On that note, Jordan, the floor is now yours. Thank you so much.
Cheers, Mark. Afternoon, everyone. Apologies if I'm not looking at you because my camera's over here and my screen's over here. So my top learnings from the TAE course are as follows. So why is it not going to my next? There we go, cool. So learning one, and they're in no particular order. Learning one, dimension of competence. So task skills, can they do the job task management skills, contingency, and job role and environment. So I guess taking the learnings, inputting them practically, we obviously, as I've said a few times, are heavily trained by PowerPoint in a office scenario. So being able to take this onto the appliance or onto the fireground and actually getting recruits to demonstrate these tasks, particularly when it comes to contingency management and environmental skills. Obviously, there's a lot of outside influence that can influence, I guess, how well a task is done on the fireground. The second one is learning styles, so visually, auditory, and kinesthetically. The reason I've selected that is I do subconsciously try and implement the stuff around social styles and that we spoke about as well, because I've done other study with that. But I think there's ways that I could potentially implement learning styles and intertwine them with social styles to actually be even more effective when I communicate and teach. So that's the reason I selected that one. And the third one is engagement tactics. So again, around keeping that level of engagement up when we are delivering training to our recruits, being that it's very slideshow heavy, trying to keep that engagement high. And all of that the reason for all of those three things, particularly that last one, is because of my shift. So it's not really a shift, but I guess something that is been more enlightened to is that the biggest challenge or consequence that they may face if they don't hear or act on what I'm teaching them, in my case, is death or serious injury. So I obviously need to ensure that if I'm delivering this training effectively, I need to do those three things, because ultimately, if they're not listening or they're not understanding what I teach them, then that's potentially the outcome. So, and that's my presentation. Thank you.
Let's give Jordan a thunderous round of applause for that, please. Excellent.
Oh.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I think I just got muted there. Awesome. Fantastic.
I muted you instead of me. Sorry about
that. It happens. It happens. Awesome. So I'm going to head to Drew. And Drew, I'm going to make you co-host. Jordan, if you want to, I'm going to remove those privileges, and Drew, your co-host. And Drew, if you know how to, if you want to unmute yourself, Drew, if you know how to, click on share screen. You just hover over share screen and click on your PowerPoint, and you'll be able to.
I'll if you can pick someone else, I'll have to, because I'm using two different systems, I'll email it to this one and pull it up.
Nice. Michael, go ahead. Michael, you are next on my list. And I will.
Okay, we can see the screen. Let me just go to the presentation.
We can. Yes, I can see it. Fantastic. So if you want to go to slide number 1. Yep, that's learning 3. Yep, awesome. All right, cool. Everyone type in the chat box. I'm excited. I'm excited to hear from Michael. It's going to be amazing. Type in the chat box. I'm excited. Let's get it on, folks. Michael is going to bring us some wisdom. Go for it, Michael. Tell us. Go for it.
Good afternoon, everyone. How are you today?
We are excited.
Thunderous applause. The other day, I went to a Cert 4 training course in assessment and training. And the 3 things that made a big impact on me were, number 1, it's not about me, it's all about them and how they need to hear it so they can achieve it. The second point was, if I'm nervous, I need to focus on self, focus on content, and focus on the audience. And lastly, the structure of the VEET sector, with ASQA as the national regulator, the SSOs write the training packages, the IRCs give them help writing them or advice to write the training packages. The AISC approves the training packages, and then finally RTOs, registered training organisations, actually deliver the training packages. The biggest shift I got from going to the course was that I realised just how structured the whole process was, right from the beginning to end, of how packages are designed, delivered, etc. And that was my biggest takeaway. Thank you.
Awesome. Let's give Michael a thunderous round of applause. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Excellent. And I'll check in with Drew. Drew, how are you going? Do you need some more time? Do you need some more time? You all good? Awesome. I'm going to do that. And Drew.
I think I'm good. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay. Let's see.
Click that share screen button.
Yeah. Says, you can see this?
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay. No, come back to me.
Okay. David, you are next, my friend. David. All right, down the bottom there, David, you'll see a little segment. Oh, excellent, David. Bringing up the slides. I'm excited. I'm excited. Go ahead. And if you want to go to slideshow mode, you can. Just up the top there on the left, click from beginning. And up the very top on the left-hand side, up the very top on the left-hand side, up the very top on the left-hand side. If you click from beginning, if you want to click from beginning, you want to click up the top from beginning. Yeah, cool. Keep going to the left. Keep going to the left. Yep, and click on from the beginning. From beginning. Cool. Or not. Just do it as is. And we will give you the, yeah, awesome. Click from beginning. Yes, click that one. Click that one. Yes. David, click that button for me, friend. And David, you want to unmute yourself? And yes, David, you're on mute. David, you're on mute, please. Awesome. All right, cool. So
Well,
go back
good.
to the very first. Go back to the first slide. Go back to the first slide. Go back to the first slide. Yep. Just click the arrow button. Go back to the first slide.
Oh, it's not going back.
Yeah. So just click the arrow button.
Yeah, I am.
Okay, cool. That's fine. You can just kick it off from there, and that'll be good.
Okay.
All right, awesome. The floor is now yours, David. Go for it.
Sorry, none of the arrows are working, so on either
That's
screen.
fine.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. I learnt some very exciting concepts about the vet sector but they were just that exciting I can't share them. However, a couple of key learnings, 3 pillars of a successful training cycle: engagement, information retention, and student attraction. One of the key points for me was how practicing doing is about 75% of learning, but teaching others creates about 90% retention. So even if someone is very new to learning a particular topic, we can teach them, we can have them teach others, and that creates incredible retention for them. And then ownership equals retention and change, and of course rapport, engagement and retention, and creating a ripple effect that we can influence others and make the world a better place by teaching and training others, and so that they can learn retention. All right, none of my arrows are working. However, learning 2 was the competencies in levels of learning, task skills, task management skills, contingency management skills, and job role in environment skills. So yes, learning about the different levels of learning from Cert 1 up to diploma. That was a key one. And my apologies, I cannot bring up Cert 3. Not everything is just locked up. So.
And your biggest shift is?
Biggest tip is to involve in your presentations opportunities to practice and for the participants to teach others.
I love it. Let's give this gentleman a thunder round of applause. Good job, my friend. Good job. And tech issues will happen, and this is why we practice, and this is why we're doing right now. Go ahead, Drew. I'm going to bring up my friend Drew, and Drew is going to kick us off with some cool stuff. I'm going to remove that. And Drew, how you going? You ready to go? Bring up your slides, my friend. Click share screen, and we'll see.
I think I've clicked share screen.
Mm-hmm.
Now
you do need to have your PowerPoint open. You do need to have them open. You do need to have the PowerPoints open in the background.
Yeah, I do. I'm trying to just share my desktop, and it's asking me to look up preferences, security preferences. I don't know. I never use Mac. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. So you can do it without your PowerPoints and just go ahead, read the learnings to the group, and then just tell us your biggest shift. So you don't need to show the PowerPoints, totally fine. However, you would want to get that issue sorted before presentation day. So go ahead. The floor is now yours, Drew. We're excited. Everyone's excited. We can't wait. Go ahead. Bring your knowledge, Drew.
Okay. So I recently did a learning course, and I wanted to share with you my top 3 learnings. So as you can see on my slide, The first learning that I had was the 3 pillars of a successful session. So they are rapport, engagement, and retention. So rapport can be built by using icebreakers as an example effectively. Engagement will be checking that people understand by asking questions, not using the 8-minute rule, so moving on every now and again for different teaching modalities. And retention is can be checked by reviewing that people understand more and teaching less. So those 3 pillars of a successful session were rapport, engagement, and retention. The second slide that you can see, my second learning, are the quality indicators. So that's learner engagement, competency completion, and employer satisfaction. So the first, learner engagement, goes to, was everyone there asking questions and participating in the activities? Competency completion is, have they done all the required assessments and questionnaires? And employer satisfaction was the employer happy with the job done, the training delivered? So that's learner engagement, competency completion, and employer satisfaction. And the last big learning, third learning that I have is exposure as the 4 stages of learning. So exposure, practice, personalization, and application. Now, the biggest shift for me is I've learned to incorporate those different teaching modalities into my presentations and training packages going forward, which touches on all of those 3 learnings.
Well said, well said. Let's give her a round of applause. I like that. Very well articulated. And Mackenzie, get ready, get excited, because I'm about to make you co-host, Mackenzie, and you're about to bring up your slides if you can. If you can't, you'll do what Drew just did. So go ahead, Mackenzie. You're about to share some knowledge with us. We're excited. Mackenzie, the floor is yours. Go for it.
Yeah.
If you can't bring up the slides,
I can't do that.
We've got some slides.
Sorry,
there we are.
It's the wrong one.
No, we've got. That's okay. You could minimize that, or you could. You've got the tab, My Top Learnings. You just click on the tab. So you've got.
Where is it?
Yeah. So up the top there, you've got Google Docs open. So you might just have the wrong tab open.
Yeah, I thought that. I'm like, there we go. Okay.
You had the Google page open. You just need to click on the other tab.
Yep, I've got it now.
Oh, she's prepped and ready to go. I'm excited. You should be excited. It's going to be amazing. Here we are. We got it. We got it. All right. Mackenzie, you can leave it as is if you like, and then as you, she's got skills. She's got skills to pay the bills. All right, Mackenzie, the floor is now yours. Bring us some wisdom. Go for it.
So recently I went to a training and assessing course, and I learned some very valuable things that I'll be able to take into the workforce with me when I start my new job. One of the things I learned was the AQS level chart, just this criteria sheet breaking down basically what each certificate, diploma means when we mark them on the different areas of competency. The second one was the industrial design words that I found that would be very helpful when structuring an assessment depending on what certificate they're doing or diploma. And then again, I'm going to link that learning 2 to learning 3 when I'm building an assessment, that each different thing I need to be looking at. So 1, look at the assessment conditions, 2, read the performance evidence, and then 3, build some short answer questions around the knowledge evidence. That will build a really good assessment, hopefully. And then prior to this, I didn't realize all the different ways and tools out there to make being an assessor and trainer easier. By this, I mean that there are many helpful tools that we can use to help better structure our assessments and training sessions. I will now apply these techniques in my teaching and assessing.
Wow. Let's give the amazing Mackenzie a thunderous round of applause. That was really cool. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. All right, awesome. And Rochelle. And I'm going to make you co-host. Again, if you can show your slides, great. If you can't, that's totally fine. I'm going to remove those permissions. questions. Awesome. So Rochelle, I'm liking it. You're showing your slides. We're off to a good start. Rochelle, I'm excited. Everyone's excited. The floor is yours, Rochelle. Go for it.
So my name is Rochelle White. I went to this course called the TAE. And one of the things I learned was the 8-minute rule, how to interact with students, keeping them entertained and informed. So like PowerPoints, videos, handouts, practicals, hands-on workshop and role plays. However, I think I might do my PowerPoints and cut back on the role plays just for better communication skills with the students. Learning point 2, which I really liked, was remove assumptions, investigate fully, give quality feedback, because I'm training our future nurses. So if I don't really know 110% that they know what they're doing, especially because of what we play with drugs, I think it's very important. And the third one I liked was the base, or the VAX, valid, authentic, current, and sufficient. And before I started this course, I thought training assessment was quite simple. And after the course, I realized it's more complex, has many layers and details to it. I can appreciate now my hospital educator a little bit better.
Love it, love it, love it. Let's give Rochelle a thunder round of applause. I love it. I love it. And I think that is everyone. Just type in the chat box if that's everyone and you have all presented. Type in the chat box if you have all presented. I believe that's everyone. If you haven't yet, just let me know. And Rochelle, if you want to start sharing your screen, that'd be awesome. Awesome. All right, cool. So I just need Rochelle to click out of that, so you can push escape if you'd like to. Ah, yeah, there we are. There we are. All right, cool. So what I would like to do is, just before we close off the day, I just want to do an activity to build your confidence. Build your confidence in the space of delivering online. Okay. And this is an activity that will help you shift from presenter to trainer. Presenter to trainer, because typically what happens is people turn up to presentation day and they get all nervous, and they will often, it's still, no matter how many times I've told them, no matter how many times they go through the TAE, and we talk about the importance of rapport, engagement, retention, they immediately fall back into focus on self, focus on content. Now, at the end of the day, training is not about me, it's all about them and how they need to hear it so they can achieve it. So what I would like you to do is, I'd like you to think of a random word that is associated to your industry. So in Jordan's case, you could pick the word appliance, right? Or just pick any word that is specific to your industry. So just pick a piece of like random terminology that no one's going to know. Just pick up and just write it down. Just write it down. All right, cool. Just write it down in your notepad. You don't need to put it in the chat box. Okay, and the first person that's going to go ahead is Jordan. So Jordan, you're going to unmute yourself.
Yep.
Yep, give me one sec. Now, the activity that we're about to do is going to sound weird. It's going to sound corny. It's going to sound stupid. It's going to sound wacky. It's going to sound crazy. But over time, you probably agree that when you drill things in, eventually it leads to a mindset shift. So I'm going to type some words into the chat box, and I'd like you to write them down. Just so I know that you got that, type X into the chat box. So just so I know that you got that, type X into the chat box. Now, haha, funny. All right, so actually write that down. Just so I know that, like, don't put X in the chat box. I'm telling you, write those words down. Just so I know that you got that, type X into the chat box, okay? So literally put those words on your notepad right now, okay? Yeah, haha, Drew. You don't need to put it in the chat box, all right? That's not the point. what we're doing now is we're about to practice something, okay? So, and we are all going to play along. We're all going to play along, okay? All right. Because my online presenting game only went to the next level once I realized training was not about me, it's all about my audience. In order to engage my audience, I needed to step away from content and be more focused on my audience. So what we're going to do now is an activity to get you focused on your audience. So Jordan, what he's going to do is he's going to say something like this. Just so I know that you've got that, type appliance into the chat box, and everyone's going to quickly rapid fire type in whatever he says is his word into the chat box. So Jordan, say the expression, just so I know that you got that, type and then say your word into the chat box. All right, ready, set, go. Go,
Just
Jordan.
so I know that you've got that, type bug into the chat box, please.
Awesome. Oh, Rochelle, your turn. Go ahead, unmute yourself and tell us your word. Go ahead, use the expression. Rochelle, unmute yourself, do rapid fire, ready, go for it. Just so I know that.
Mental state examination.
No. Say the entire expression. It's not about the word, it's about saying the expression. Go ahead one more time, please.
I don't
Just
know
so
that
that
I'm lost.
No, Rochelle, repeat after me. Just so that I know that you got that. Say that.
Oh, just so I know that you got that, type in the
Right.
chat box MSE.
Excellent, thank you. Oh, Mackenzie, ready, go. Hurry up, Mackenzie. Mackenzie, unmute yourself and tell us your expression. Ready, go for it.
Just so I know you've got that, type extraction into the chat box.
Excellent. You guys are slow. Drew, go for it. Rapid fire.
Just so they know that you've got that, type ice into the chat box.
God. All right, cool. Michael, unmute yourself. Ready, go for it.
Just so I know that you've got that, type internet into the chat box.
Oh, come on. Give us something a bit harder, my friend. Awesome. All right. David, go ahead. Unmute yourself.
Just so that I know that you've got that, type spike into the chat box.
Nice.
Please.
I'm liking it. Awesome. All right, Jordan, your turn. Pick another word in your industry. Make it weird, make it wacky, make it fun.
Just so I know you've got that, type burn pattern into the chat box, please.
Nice. Go ahead, Rochelle. Bring it. Another word that comes to mind.
Just so I know that you got that, put psychotic into the chat box.
Love it. I love it. Mackenzie, come on, Mackenzie.
Just so I know you've got that, type RCT into the chat box.
Cool. True.
Just so they know that you've got that, type imposter into the chat box.
Ah, that's what I am. All right, Michael, go ahead. Take us to a crazy place, something interesting, something we would never think of.
Just so that I know you've got that, type virtual private network into the set chat box.
Oh, I like it. What do you do for fun? All right, awesome. We got virtual private network. I'm getting scared. Ah, that's VPN. Awesome. All right, David, go ahead, David. Give it to us. Unmute yourself, David. Go for it.
Just so that I know that you've got that, type security incident management system into the chat box, or you can just type SIMS, SIMS.
No, I like it. I'm loving it. Awesome. Jordan, it's your turn, my friend.
Just so that I know you've got that, type appliance into the chat box, please.
Awesome. Rochelle, bring it. Rochelle, give us something technical.
Just so I know that you've got that, type IMI injection into the chat box.
Intramuscular injection, I think it is. Awesome. Mackenzie, bring it. Make it hard.
Just so I know you've got that, type crown preparation into the chat box.
Oh, I was way off. Awesome. Drew, I think, Drew, it's your turn, sir.
Just so I know that you've got that, type offload into the chat box.
Awesome. Michael.
Just so I know you've got that, type terabyte into the chat box. I'll be checking spelling.
I like it. David.
Just so that I know that you've got that, type gates into the chat box, GATES.
Nice, nice. Awesome. So we're going to pause there. We're going to stop the activity. And at the same time, what I'd love to do is I'm going to ask Drew a question. Drew, as you unmute yourself, Drew, as you unmute yourself, Drew, as you unmute yourself.
Yeah.
Can you appreciate why we might have done that activity? Can you appreciate why we might have done that? And do you think by doing that over and over again, it might help you focus even more on the messages and what people remember from your session? Would you agree with that statement?
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Because at the end of the day, when you're delivering content, it's not about you, it's all about them and what they take away from your session. So on that note, what I'd love you to do is, we're going to head into some groups, and we have our group set up. What I'd like you to do is, in a moment, not yet at the moment, you're going to head into your groups. I'd like you to simply share with your partner. For you personally, it's going to be a little bit of an raw or authentic conversation. I'd like you to share with your partner, where do you feel like you've grown the most, and where do you feel like you've grown in terms of confidence in regards to presenting, or where do you feel like you've got even more knowledge that could really support you going forward? It could be anything at all. It's like, yeah, I feel like I've grown in my ability to read people or deal with different personalities, or I believe I've now got more confidence around structuring a presentation or engaging an audience or whatever it might be. So head into your rooms, share with your partner, where do you feel like you've grown the most or have more confidence to go forward in, whatever it might be. I'll bring you back in about a minute and a half. Thank you. Drew came back early. He didn't like his partner.
No,
We just
we're back
agreed
in at
too
the same
much.
time. Thank you very much.
Understandable. We only want 58 seconds with Jordan. That's all good.
Only human.
Any more than 58 seconds with Jordan's just too much, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Just thought I know that you got that. Type Jordan in the chat box. Awesome. All right, cool. So people are slowly coming back, and just waiting a couple more people. All right, cool. So I am going to head to Michael. Michael, please go ahead, unmute yourself, share with the group, where do you feel you've grown the most, or where do you feel even more confident in? It could be any topic at all, but just in terms of your biggest, I guess, sense of growth, where would it be for you? It could be any of the topics that we've covered, could be anything at all. Go for it, Michael. Share with the group, where do you feel even more confident, or where do you feel you've grown the most? Go for it.
I'll be quite generic, in fact, and say overall, because now I can see that there are actually structures, and there is actually like a breakdown of things that I was just doing before, just as a matter of course. But now I can see that by breaking it down into the various components, I can see that there are different components, and by being able to identify those components, I can then see which ones I am lacking on or which ones I can improve in. So I probably wouldn't go any specific one. I'd just go overall.
Yeah, nice. Well said. Well said. Really cool. Drew, go ahead. Unmute yourself. Share with the group. What you got, Drew?
Yeah, I think that changing the way that you teach and putting like activities and questions and all of that is going to be the biggest takeaway for me.
Really cool. Really cool. Awesome. Jordan.
For me, it was just around the structure. Never had an issue with presenting content, but I guess the engagement side and having a structure to follow to be able to put content together to increase engagement and increase retention of information is definitely probably the biggest one, I'd say.
Awesome. David, go ahead. Share with the group. What is it for you, David, as you unmute yourself?
The process and the components to learning and assessment structures, more so the assessment side. I didn't realise how complex it was and how much work is involved when you're assessing someone for nationally registered training. So yes, that's been a big eye opener.
Awesome. Rochelle.
Everything.
Okay, cool.
Everything.
Yeah, good. Cool. Mackenzie.
Yeah, I was the exact same as Rochelle because I've never done anything like this. So everything's just like blown my mind, and I'm just like, wow, I've got so much to like take into my new job. So I'm very excited.
Yeah, awesome. All right, cool. So everybody, let's give the entire group a thunderous round of applause for an amazing week and all the effort and participation that you put in. For me, absolutely proud of all of you. If I'm honest, we did have a larger group, particularly from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but you all participated thoroughly well and no one got left behind, no one got unseen, so to speak. We got through everything, and we even wrapped up early on quite a few days. We're even going to wrap up early today. So it just shows me your dedication and your, I guess, willingness to play at 100%, which is fantastic. I'm excited for all of you as you travel forward and implement the skills, and as you show up on workshop 3 day. It's going to be amazing as you play around with presenting online or back in your workplace. And I wish you all the very best with implementing the skills. If you have any questions at all, just shoot me an email. More than happy to help you out with delivery stuff. In terms of assessments, up till now this week, if you are curious, essentially, Zoom's going to have a SPAC on me again, I think. Might be okay. Oh no, it's gonna have a SPAC on me. But I will just go in order. Don't send. Okay. Okay, hopefully you can all hear me. With this week, what we did is we covered the design cluster, we covered the delivery cluster, and we